Hello everyone, those of you who are practicing Formula 44 meditational techniques based on Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God, with commentary by Swami Mukundanand, are familiar with our current program. We are picking up a favorite Shloka, a favorite verse for many from Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God, and contemplating on the theme. This will help us in our spiritual advancement, which is so essential for our meditation and mind management. So the theme that I have selected today is based on Bhagavad Gita, verse number 6 from chapter 8, which is Akshar Brahma Yoga, the yoga of the imperishable Brahma. As we all know, God is imperishable. The soul is also imperishable, but the body is not. Our body, mind, intellect, they move. The body drops dead, but the soul is the quintessential part of God and is imperishable. So the verse that I have selected today is Yam yam vapi asmaran bhavam tyajat yante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya tad sada tad bhava bhavita. Kaunteya is the term used to refer to Arjun. Shri Krishna is telling Arjun, whatever you remember at the time of your death, you will obtain that, you will achieve that. There is no doubt about it. And in the previous verse, Shri Krishna is telling the same point in a different way, where he says, Antakale cha mameva asmaran muktva kalevaram sah prayati sadbhavam yati nasta yatra shanshaya. Yah prayati samadbhavam yati nasta yatra shanshaya. So first I told you about 8-6, and then I told you about 8-5. Again, the meaning for 8-6 is, whatever we think at the time of death, we will achieve that. And in the previous verse, the meaning is, Sri Krishna is telling Arjun, if you contemplate about me at the time of death, you will come to me, there is no doubt about it. So both points mean the same. Whatever we think, we will obtain that. If we are thinking of God, if we are thinking of Lord Shiv, we will obtain Lord Shiv. If we are thinking of Lord Ram, we will obtain Lord Ram. If we are thinking of Lord Krishna, we will obtain Lord Krishna. If we are thinking of other personalities, we will achieve them. But if we are thinking about material objects, we will also go only to those. For example, if somebody is a glutton, gluttony is his forte. He loves to eat. He is always contemplating about food. Food is such a factor in his life. He, as though, lives to eat compared to some others who eat to live. So those who love to eat, they are so finicky and so obsessed with food, about their breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Obviously, food is the central point in their lives, and if this is the practice throughout the life, at the end of the life also, these thoughts cannot be wished away. So what is the outcome? Depending on the karmic actions and reactions, either this person will end up becoming a chef, which is not so bad, but he can also become a pig, which is omnivorous, willing to eat anything and everything. So this is the cardinal rule as per Bhagavad Gita. Since we are believers in Bhagavad Gita, the song of God, we cannot neglect this knowledge. On the other hand, if we think of the Lord, at the end of our life we will achieve Him. And what better could be that? Because God is the Supreme. He has everything to share with us. He grants to fulfill all our wishes if we surrender our mind and intellect. In that situation, there is no birth, there is no disease, there is no old age, there is no suffering, there is no death. Which is what is stated in so many other verses of Bhagavad Gita. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosha nudarshanam. This is in the 13th chapter, Shloka number 9. Amanitvam adambitvam ahimsa chantir arjavam acharyo pasanam shaucham asthairyam atma vinigrahah indriyani ahankar anahankara evacha indriyan artheshu anahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshana. These are the defects in our life that every one of us has to go through: disease, old age and death after birth. Obviously, these are the parts of suffering, because no one relishes the disease or the death or the old age. So many problems are concomitant with this state or with these states. So there is such a beautiful formula that the fear of death, which is technically called abhinivesh, is very much possible to counter and fathom and overcome with the simple technique of remembrance, sumiran, contemplation about the supreme entity who is the cause of all causes. Everything that is happening in our lives is because of that entity. The fact that I'm able to talk to you is also because of the power of the soul which is present in my body. If I'm able to breathe, if I'm able to digest food, if I'm able to see, everything is happening by His grace. So why not surrender to this entity, so that at the end of our life also we will contemplate about this entity and achieve the goal of our life, the goal of being born as a human. So, amazing discovery which we are reading in Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God, from the very first chapter. In the second chapter, where Shri Krishna talks in detail about the soul, this point is driven so well that we are not the body, we are the soul, and the soul is indestructible, the soul is immutable, the soul is immortal, the soul is eternal. So why should there be a fear? Because the death in any case is inevitable. That is why the phrase as sure as death, that is why the phrase dead end. All these phrases very categorically describe the inevitability of death. Once a person crosses the age of 60, if I recall correctly, the statistics is only 5% of those people survive. So anybody who has crossed 60, in any case, we are into that fortunate bracket. But we are getting close to our end, and this knowledge becomes so much more meaningful for those of us. And the best thing is we lead a peaceful life. We have not harbored many wishes to be fulfilled, and the contemplation on the lotus feet of the Lord and Guru make our life so much more complete, blissful, peaceful, etc. So, as I was mentioning, the shlokas in second chapter, न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन वाशांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नैनम छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि, and आश्चर्यवद पश्यति कश्चिदेनम. All these verses are so clearly talking about the soul, that the soul is immortal. It is so amazing. This is what is powering every one of us, and it is immortal, and it is so natural to cross over to the next life without any hassles if we believe in these words. So once again, today's verse, yam yam vapi asmaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitah. Whatever we remember at the time of death, we will obtain that. So let that be the subject for contemplation. In so many places in Bhagavad Gita, death has been covered. In the recent times, there was a movie, Oppenheimer, who was a scientist orchestrating the manufacture of atom bomb. And when the experiment in Alamogordo in New Mexico was taking place, he was chanting this verse, if I recall correctly. Kalo asmi, I am the time which destructs the whole world. This is from the chapter 11. So he had studied Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God, and he is aware about the fact that God has talked about Kal, the time, to be the factor which decimates everything, the whole world. This atom bomb is so powerful that it destroys so many lives, and other objects in a flash is so apt to recall. Also, in very many places in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has spoken about the cessation of suffering can happen only when we have gotten to this knowledge of the spiritual connection. Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha. That shloka in the second chapter, the last shloka, that one achieves nirvana, the complete blissful state, if one has internalized this knowledge which Sri Krishna has articulated in chapter 2. So, to summarize, the contemplation is very important. What we think, that is what we will become. Our next life can be shaped into a beautiful transformation only if we have been cautious in nurturing our mind, in tending to the garden of our mind cautiously and carefully. If we have been neglectful, the consequences could be very much detrimental. With that, we can close the session now, the video now, and we will meet you again in the next video. Take care. See you.